Richard Berthelsen with his take on this story. Richard, what are you hearing about what happened?
Well, it appears, as you say, Todd, that the Duke was driving. I mean, he drives around the Sandringham estate, on the estate, which is not really a public road, but there are some public roads you have to go on to go between various parts of the estate. And it appears that he was leaving the Wood Farm, which is where he often stays when he's there on his own. Possibly he might have been doing some work there, reading, and maybe going back to the house. And he seems to have been caught at an intersection where there may not be that great visibility. Now, there has been concern expressed over the years about Prince Philip continuing to drive on his own. I mean, as late as 4 or 5 years ago, the Prince of Wales himself, his son, said, he's concerned about it. So we don't see Prince Philip driving a lot in London or perhaps on highways or things like that, as he did at one time. But he might have thought it was okay to do so on the estate. This will probably put a little bit of a damper on that, and there might be a reevaluation on him as to whether or not he should be driving at all.
There's a great question there. So let me ask you. I mean, we know the Prince does love to drive here. This will no doubt trigger a conversation. What do you think we can expect from Buckingham Palace, Richard, in the next couple of days on all this?
Well, I think they'll respond to whatever, the police are obligated to do in terms of an investigation. It's possible the Prince may be found liable for this particular type of incident. It appears no one was hurt. There does seem to be some reports that his security officer, his protection officer, was on the scene. So whether he was in the passenger seat or traveling behind, hard to say. But I mean, I think the Queen will probably feel he might need to be kept under a little closer eye than he has been. I mean, he has, really been primarily at Sandringham since he took his retirement a little over a year ago. He loves being out there, and he loves the freedom that it gives him. And, he flew an aircraft well into his 50s also. So, I mean, this is someone who doesn't take kindly to being kind of having his wings clipped. So it's going to be a real issue. But, if he was a bit shocked and surprised, and no doubt he was, as you pointed out, with a car on the Land Rover on its side, it can't have been easy to get him out of it after that incident. I mean, hopefully he'll reevaluate that, and maybe he needs to get from behind the wheel entirely. And I think that's probably what the view will be.
Richard Berthelsen with his take on this news. Prince Philip involved in an accident, unhurt, but there are questions, of course. Thank you for this, Richard. Always good to talk to you.
You too, Todd.